We're here to introduce something exciting from Nikon, the new Z5II. If you're new to the Nikon Z ecosystem, this is a fantastic starting point that gives you all of the full frame essentials you need as a budding professional. And if you're already a Nikon shooter, maybe even someone who's still working with DSLRs, the Z5II is much more than a successor to 2020 Z5. We now have some major upgrades to autofocus, image processing, stabilization, and much more. We had the chance to test out some of these many features over the last couple days, so let's dive into it. So right off the bat, the Z5II has a brand new 24.5 megapixel BSI CMOS sensor and has upgraded to the X-Speed 7 image processor, which we are testing here at Rutgers University for a lacrosse game. Fans of Nikon will recognize that this is the same processor featured in the Z8 and the Z9, so new shooters can rest easy that they're getting the latest processor here. This means a few things. First, you're now able to shoot images at up to 11 frames per second raw, or you can switch over to high-speed frame capture to shoot either 15 or 30 frames per second in JPEG. They've also integrated the beloved pre-release capture at up to 1 second in JPEG only, which we will be definitely trying out here today. You also have 7.5 stops of vibration reduction built into the body, and you also have stabilization when utilizing f-mount lenses if you're coming over from DSLR, so you can still use your same glass. And we need to talk about the major improvements to autofocusing because that's one of the X-Speed 7's biggest changes. The Z5II's autofocus is a whopping 68% faster than its predecessor and has the same subject detection as the Z9. You're getting 3D subject tracking that covers 90% of your frame, which can recognize up to 9 subjects like humans, animals, planes, trains, and automobiles. You can track facial movements even when your subject's face takes up only 3% of the entire frame. And if you aren't sure which to choose from, you can let the camera decide with autofocus A mode, which will detect which subject tracking mode is the most accurate and change it for you. Now we have to talk about the low light improvements with just one more mention about autofocus. Autofocus can be tricky in less than ideal lighting situations like we have here, photographing our live band Secret Gardens. But the Z5II is now able to autofocus all the way down to -10 EV, which I'll note is a huge improvement from the Z5, which is only at -3, and we definitely appreciated this today. With the advancement to X-Speed 7 comes advances in its low-light image quality as well. The native ISO now goes all the way up to 64,000 with less noise. And while you're shooting in darker conditions, you'll also appreciate the brighter EVF and warm display option. This is also helpful when you're shooting astrophotography as it won't strain your eyes as much when they adjust for the darkness. And speaking of astro, Nikon also has a dedicated starlight viewing mode, which brightens the display for ease of viewing and has focus peak assistance to help you get the perfect Milky Way photo. On the camera body itself, we have a few things to note. First of all, you'll notice the dedicated picture control button, which Nikon has been integrating into some of the newer models, which gives you easy access to some preset combinations of hue, saturation, tone, etc. You can download recipes from your favorite creators using Imaging Cloud or design your own. The Z5II also features a USB-C port for charging, a dual SD card slot, an improved EVF like I mentioned, and a vari-angle tilting screen. So we're at our third and final location shooting with the Nikon Z5II, and we just wrapped shooting some portraits. We shot some lacrosse yesterday, and we even got to shoot some live music with it earlier today. And we're here with commercial and editorial photographer Gabriela Herman to get some initial thoughts on the camera after shooting with it over the past few days. Gabriela, I was just curious, what are your initial thoughts on using the Nikon Z5II?
Yeah, it's a great camera. It's super versatile. I love the size. It's just, more compact and just easy to take around. It has all the features that a top-of-the-line camera has, but it's very user-friendly. It was fun to shoot with.
So you work as a commercial photographer. You do a lot of traveling. What are some of the key features that you might look for when you're choosing a camera body for your type of work?
I can't always bring lights with me, and I love natural light and not being able to deal with lights, and so having a camera that has really good low light capabilities is number one. And this camera is amazing in low light, mind blown of what you can actually see. So low light, one. Other thing is focus. There's so many different ways you can use the focus, the different settings in the focus, so depending on scenario, being able to change how you do the focus tracking, and so that's really a key point.
You mentioned that you've been shooting with Nikon for quite a while now. It's been with you throughout your whole career. Where do you see this camera body sitting in their line of cameras? Who might be the best user for this sort of camera?
Yeah, I think that this is probably gonna be like the best sort of starter camera for someone who really wants to get more serious about photography. It has basically all the controls that a top-of-the-line professional camera has, but at a lower price point. But you can do all the same things. You know, you can create all the different settings and have access to all the different tools.
We talked a little bit about the picture profiles or picture controls that we were using earlier. How do you use them in your workflow? How do you go about that?
Yeah, sure. What I've done in the past is I've picked out the profiles and like downloaded certain profiles that I really liked to the camera, which you can do easily. And then being able to have those profiles that I specifically picked like in the camera and shoot with is a totally new feature that like I'm not used to, but it was really cool to like already see sort of the color profile and the outcome of the image.
Yeah, awesome. So let's shift away from photography for just a moment to talk about the video improvements here. The Z5II now records in 4K up to 30 frames per second recording without any crop, and 4K at 60 frames per second with a 1.5 crop, and up to 120 frames per second at 1080p. And like I previously mentioned, this model has greatly improved upon the in-body image stabilization from the Z5 from 3 to 7.5 stops here. And anyone looking to shoot in a more cinematic style, you can now shoot in N-Log and N-RAW, which gives you lots of flexibility in your post-production color grading. They've also added their product review mode as well, which makes it easy to shift the focus to any object placed in front of the camera, then focus right back to the subject. This makes it ideal for video content creators. Overall, the Nikon Z5II is a great option for someone itching to get into the Nikon mirrorless ecosystem with a camera body that will grow with you throughout your career. It's got basically everything that you need to get started, from stellar autofocus, low light capabilities, and speedy image processing, all in a compact package. But what do you think of the Nikon Z5II? Let us know in the comments below. I'm Sam with B&H, and I'll see you next time.
Introducing the new Paybu credit card. You can save the tax or choose special financing for your purchases made on your Paybu credit card. It's easy. The new Paybu card, same funny name, your choice of exclusive benefits. Apply today.